First of all, I am not willing to accept that you don't know that it is your heart that is speaking. The idea in our heartfulness way of meditation that we need to balance spiritual and material life. Balancing does not mean spending time equally. And also, balancing does not mean that when you make $100,000, how much spiritual wealth are you going to balance it with? You can never balance both that way because you cannot quantify spiritual wealth. Years of my struggle in trying to understand this very fundamental thing, that how to balance and fly like a bird with two wings, equally supportive. I see it's a futile exercise. I would have argued and discussed in detail with Babuji Maharaj that this idea of balancing, it doesn't satisfy my heart. It's great. I mean, it's really good to convince when you're giving a talk to public who are trying to meditate for the first time in their life and those who are not exposed to spirituality, in order to bring it to their attention that spiritual life is also important. You can give these examples. But when you come down to a real fundamental practical life, and when we try to percolate this, allow this meditative state to percolate in our day-to-day activities, that is the beginning of integration of spiritual life and material life. And while integration, what I mean is you are not differentiating. Whatsoever you do, it's spiritual dancing. First of all, I am not willing to accept that you don't know that it is your heart that is speaking. All the miseries and grief that you are facing now has its root. You didn't follow your heart. Heart did warn you, but you said, no, 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 keep quiet. I had to do this. This is important. But heart says, no, don't do it. And when you override the vetoing heart, then you always regret. So I shouldn't have done it. So I have difficulty in believing that people don't know what heart is saying. You have already made up your mind that I want to do this, and at any cost you want to suppress the tiny little voice of your heart. And when you keep suppressing this voice time and again, events after events, then too it does not stop saying, but this is a misnomer. We are all human beings. When my mother has a cancer, or my father is on a deathbed because of whatever disease, naturally I'll be affected. Naturally I'll be worried. Naturally I'll go crazy. Do you want to feel good about it? I don't wish it that either. So everything has a role to play in our life. So I think there is no point avoiding such emotions. Going beyond is a problem. And being careless is another problem. It is our natural response that when my child is sick, naturally I'll be worried. If I am not worried, what will happen? Then I will not worry about calling a doctor and take the right help, isn't it? That is one extreme side of it. When you don't worry, then what do you? I mean, you will lose the faculty of discernment that what is right, what is wrong. It is the worry, it is the anxiety to a certain extent that makes me do or rightful things. Imagine a student preparing for exams, very critical exam. and say, oh, I'm not worried about my exam and I don't care, I don't have anxiety for my exams. He will not study. And as a result, the results will be terrible. So, stress or anxiety to a certain extent is helpful actually. They are like, doorbells, like alarm clock. It gives you, warnings. Without that, I don't think we understand anything. Worries and anxieties makes you say, oh, what can I do? My relative or my friend is sick. Naturally, you will worry. That means there's a prompt from inside. What can I do? Do they need money? Do they need consultation? Should I take them to hospital? Do they need grocery? Because the sick person cannot go out. Can I take this prescription, go to pharmacy, pick up medicine and deliver to my friend's place? This sort of services will be needed when your heart is prompted with anxiety. And when you have done something what is rightful, then the stress and anxiety will also subside. And that will fill you up with joy for having done something worthwhile in your life.